morning, guys. I am Patty Elhoff, the author of Upcycle with Decoupage. I'll show you the project we're going to be working on in just a moment, but I wanted to mention that Upcycle with Decoupage is on Facebook, and this is my book available on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, all over online. And one other thing, most of the products that I use in my projects are available on my website, upcyclewithdecoupage.vpweb.com. So you can head on over there and purchase napkins, supplies. It really allows me to keep making these videos when you buy through me. It does go right on over to Amazon, and you can purchase anything you want through that one trip to Amazon, not just products that you need for what we're working on. So here's what we'll be working on for today. And here's what we'll need in order to get this project done today. We're going to need a spoon, canvas. These are available all over craft stores, art supply stores. You can get them on my website. Napkins, decoupage glue, and I'm using a matte finish, a ribbon that will complement the project. Definitely going to need some serious glue. This E6000 will hold to anything. I am using some mica, and I'm going to see if I can find some of this to put on my website. This is not that easy to find. You'll also need a couple of paint brushes. You should have the fine artist's brushes on hand, as well as a sponge brush. I'm going to be using the craft iron today. This is available on my website. If you don't have one of these, you can still use the regular decoupage method where you lay the napkin over the decoupage glue while it's wet and take a piece of saran wrap and pull it tight over it. You can see that on several of my other videos. I'm going to be spray painting the spoon with this Zinsser primer for all surfaces, and we'll also need some parchment paper since we're using the craft iron. I'm going to spray paint the spoon, and while it's drying, I am going to put a coat of decoupage glue all over the canvas. I'm also going to cover the sides, and then I'm going to let this dry. So since the canvas is dry, now the decoupage glue is dry, but you want to separate your napkin before you do this, so you just have the very top part. So what I'm going to do, now that my decoupage glue has dried, I am going to begin to iron this down, and I'll take my parchment paper and put it over the top. This is so you don't burn your napkin, and I'm going to go all around the surface. And this is causing the decoupage glue to melt just enough so that the napkin sticks to it. Make sure you get those edges. And what we want to do now is go around to all of the sides and do the same thing with the napkin. Just make sure we secure all of the sides down. I'll just do a little bit of it and then continue the rest of it off tape. However, I do want to show you that with the corners, you need to cut into the corner so that you don't have anything overlapping. So I'm just going to use my scissors to cut right here, almost like I'm wrapping a present. I'll cut right at the corner so that I can then just iron this side down. Now you see I'm not using the parchment paper here. I'm only doing this because I'm working on a corner And as long as I pick this iron up, and I have it on high, as long as I pick it up fast enough, I'm not going to burn the napkin or do any damage. It's really just for these corners. Now that that's secure, I can pull that away. And I'll just continue to work on the rest of the edges like that and come right back when I'm done. One other thing, you want to make sure that you're pulling this tightly over the edge. You don't want it to be bunched up or wrinkled, so pull it tightly when you're first securing that corner. And I would do that on both corners first. And then just continue along the edge there. We're going to put a layer of decoupage glue over this whole surface, but you want to make sure your napkin is down, it's secured onto the canvas. If you have any spots where you didn't iron the napkin down, it may actually tear here, so you just want to be really careful. I'm taking the decoupage glue and I'm going to apply it over the whole surface. This needs to dry thoroughly before we move on to the next step. So I'm going to put this aside to dry and then I'll come back and move on to the next step. I have the spoon that I coated with the white base coat, and I'm going to decoupage the napkin onto the spoon as well. I'm going to add a little of the decoupage glue inside the spoon first, and I'll be using some saran wrap for this. So I'm going to put a little bit of the decoupage glue right inside the spoon. And place the part of your image down that you'd like to see right there on the spoon. And I'm just going to take my saran wrap and press down inside the spoon and just secure that much of the napkin right there. Now I'm just going to do the same thing with the rest of the spoon. I'll apply some decoupage glue. You can see I made a little hole there by mistake. I'm just going to cover it up with a tiny bit of a leaf, but I'm going to let this dry first. So I added the same two ribbons that I'm using to hang this with right to the base of the spoon. I'm going to use the E6000 glue here and here, right where the spoon touches the canvas. I'm going to add a little bit of the E6000 glue inside the spoon, like right around the outside, and I'm going to add a little bit of that mica. is our completed project. It's kind of hard to see the spoon in there, isn't it? But here is how this looks along the sides, because we made the sides nice and neat. I put a couple of ribbons up here so that we can hang this. The spoon on an angle in the center with the bow around it, and some mica around the top left and the bottom right, and a little bit around the sides of the spoon. I hope you guys like this tutorial. I had a really good time making it, and I'm starting to get a little bit more into some mixed media, which entails things like adding a lot more, but you do start with decoupage a lot of times. So any questions, please contact me. Don't forget about my Facebook page. Go on over to upcyclewithdecoupage.vpweb.com if you're looking for any of the supplies. And in the meantime, I love hearing from you guys. You're so nice with your comments and compliments. Thank you so much for subscribing, and I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.